SCCScreen.com.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit. SCC's Career Days will provide you with a hands-on experience as you learn alongside SCC faculty and students and industry partners. Explore careers in healthcare, construction, ag, automotive, manufacturing, engineering, power sports, transportation, or technology. See your options at southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
It's home for Sports Talk FM, the home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM for 93.7 The Ticket.
Push you another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night. How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that, options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
You deserve the best. With the Liberty First MasterCard, you can pay down your high-rate debt and could save hundreds when you transfer the balance. The Liberty First Credit Union MasterCard has no balance transfer fees, no cash advance fees, and no annual fee. And with a fixed rate as low as 9.99% APR and you choose rewards, you'll be able to manage your card your way. Visit libertyfirstcu.com. Rates and terms are based on your credit and subject to change. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
The Ticket Water Cooler.
There were a lot of situations where all you needed was that kind of 2-minute drill.
That was it.
Nebraska never was able, under Scott Frost, to really get one of those things going.
The 2-minute drill and the ability to move productively, move the ball, has been a complete failure for Nebraska over the last few years. I think a big part of being successful is having a quarterback that can move, and we know can move in the situation.
This on the block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska basketball of the Niner NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three. He's going to go out of here. That's the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
What up? Welcome to it. On the Block on a Monday. 2 weeks and change away from Nebraska football kicking off against Minnesota. We'll have plenty of Husker headlines for you in hour number 2. I'm Austin Norman. He is Eric Strickland. This is On the Block on 93.7. The Ticket, theticketfm.com, streaming worldwide, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. You can also download our free app for your phone or check us out on Allo Channel 951 if you're a subscriber there. Another place you are likely to see us, not today, not tomorrow, but Wednesdays through Sundays, Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul.
That's where you can go. I will definitely be there once again this week. It is time to check in and see what's new on the menu, what they're working on, what they're trying to conjure up there in a good way, not the movie, but what they're trying to put together. I need to be there on Wednesday. It is a must. Now, I can't do it Wednesday because I have a dentist appointment, but, Thursday and Friday. Got to go.
Get there.
Must. Yeah,
absolutely. 27th and Pine Lake, Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them know on the block sent you. 402-464-5685. The important numbers for you to get into the show on the Honda of Lincoln hotline or the Starter Heyman text line. Strick, we're going to jump off with some Nebraska-related basketball headlines. Let's start with this. Keisei Tominaga, who is coming back to Nebraska, was not on the foreign trip to Spain. Wasn't there for a reason. That's because he was still in tryouts and competing with the Japanese national team. And it all paid off. Keisei Tominaga was named to Japan's final 12-man roster. So he will officially be playing in the FIBA World Cup. And they've got some games coming up. We'll take on Angola, France, a really good national team, and then your boy from Slovenia,
from
Luka.
So I mean, that's a pretty good schedule, I think, for them to start off. It's going to give them a great tune-up. But more than anything, he's going to play against some of the guys, some of the best in the NBA. It's going to be a great test for him in preparation for what they're going to do in the World Cup, and also for what he's going to see when he gets back into the Big Ten. I think it's going to be fun to see how they use him. Because we know that here at Nebraska, he's going to be all eyes on him. He's going to be the one that everybody is preparing for, is scouting for, and he's going to be one or two probably on their list of who to take care of and make sure that they're contained. So it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to seeing how well he plays. Definitely the Luka matchup. I don't think they'll probably put him on Luka. That would be in essence potentially a mismatch because Luka is one of them big body, strong, bang you. And let's see it though. Let's see if Keisei can handle it because that's what he's going to need to do at that level. If he's going to want to play in the NBA, he's going to have to be able to face those type of challenges and do well in it.
How much stock do you think NBA evaluators will put into any film Keisei gets out of this run?
So honestly, right? If I'm Keisei, I am petitioning the coaching staff at Japan for those matchups because I want the NBA scouts to see my capabilities of handling it and matching up going against. It's obviously not a one-on-one game, but still you're going to have some of those matchups and how I can handle that. That's going to be a key piece to them getting some tape on him regarding those type of matchups.
So Keisei will play tomorrow against Angola, Thursday against France, and then Saturday against Slovenia, just in friendly. So those are just more scrimmage style before they officially open their tournament against Germany later on. But one guy already in action in the pre-qualifying tournament, the European on the Husker roster, that's Rink Mast, who, as the release from Nebraska basketball says, Strick, he's the second youngest guy on that 12-man team. 8 points, 7 rebounds, a steal in a 2-point win. It's awesome to see Rink Mast as a really young guy in this tournament playing a role in helping his team succeed.
Yeah, when you see him being that young, getting still close to 20 minutes, that means they were allowing guys to play. I think the most that anybody played on that roster was 26 minutes. So that's pretty good. I mean, it's going to be a good test. One of the things that I like, he was 1 for 2 from 3. So he's not a volume 3 shooter, but you can tell he has capabilities of stepping back, stepping out, popping, doing things like that. Now he seems to have a nice control of touch around the paint. Didn't finish well in 2%, but that's okay. I mean, it's one of those things that you kind of still are figuring out. He's probably still trying to get his legs up under him and get all of that stuff together. I mean, yeah, they've been practicing and but it's not to the same level. He's probably just really getting into a full swing of things with the competition level. Scrimmaging there's never any way to duplicate what it's like with real situations in a game.
Absolutely. So Rink Mast, like we mentioned, the second youngest guy on the team, playing with a couple other names that college basketball fans might know. And that's Tristan Enaruna, started his career at Kansas, went to Iowa State, now at Cleveland State. And Jesse Edwards, a guy that played in the middle of that Syracuse 2-3 zone. He ends up transferring to West Virginia. Still there, hasn't transferred out despite everything going on with Bob Huggins. So Rink Mast not the only college guy on that team. But again, good to see him playing that role with 8 points.
I mean, second in rebounds too, with only 17 minutes. Second in rebounds for the team. Those are numbers that if you continue to add those minutes, that you can see that he could possibly be a double-double type of guy or close to it. And that's what they're going to need, especially without if they don't know to the extent that they're going to have Blaise Keita, not knowing what any of the other front court guys are going to be like. Jawan's going to give you some help in there, but you want somebody that can kind of command space in the paint a little bit, and that's a pretty good feat to be able to land that many rebounds in a under 20-minute clip.
I think those are going to be two of Nebraska's most important guys. I don't want to say for sure the two most important, because I think Juwan Gary has a lot to say about that. I'm really excited about Bryce Williams, what he can bring to the table. But two guys that I think Nebraska is going to depend on the most on a night in, night out basis are facing better competition in this World Cup than the team was in Spain. And I know it's, wear and tear on their legs. They're traveling overseas a lot more. But I love that two of the most important guys on the team are getting that step up in competition.
That's an absolutely great point. And it is going to mean something. Hopefully it will translate when they get back over this side. They'll be able to get enough rest, be able to kind of recoup a little bit, because you're right. I mean, it can wear on you a little bit. But I think it was a good balance of both of them, the Nebraska team, when they were in Spain, getting an opportunity to see who's willing to step up, who can step up, especially in rebounding and putting bodies on people and doing those type of things, who's going to make the right type of plays. They had success. And so it's good that you're going to be able to get a good balance of that.
Absolutely. So that's the little Husker update in the World Cup. Flipping it over to American basketball, Team USA getting a couple more scrimmages, exhibitions, probably the better word for it, done before they head off to the Philippines for the World Cup that starts on the 25th. Strick, this is a fascinating Team USA roster. You're lacking a lot of the, top end star power, which is normal for a World Cup roster as opposed to an Olympic roster. There's a lot of young guys with a lot to prove on this roster. And all they did was go out and beat the number one, rated team in FIBA, Spain, last night. Yeah,
no, that's that is something. When you look at that roster, you go up and down that roster, there's a lot of questions as to, wow, what is this? Because you think about it, they used to do it with just college players alone, right? Had some success early, then the world began to catch up to them, lost some games before they ended up going with the dream team.
Right.
Then they had that debacle of a run for a few years. I think Paul Pierce was on that team. I want to say Carmelo. It was a group. I mean, maybe even Dwayne Wade was on. It was a group that they just did not come to play. I think Chris Bosh was on that team too.
The 2004 team,
where they ended up losing. I think they lost 2 games. They didn't even get to the.
They got the bronze medal. Argentina won it.
Yeah. That year too. I think there was 2 times when that happened, but then they pull out the Redeem team, and you're looking at all NBA guys. You're looking at top 75 type of guys. You're
all time.
You're looking at those type of guys that were playing in these games. Then you're looking at 2 guys that actually wanted to play, but the system has changed. It used to be you had to try out. You had to go to a little tryout, and you would compete, and then they would decide, Colangelo and those groups would decide on who they were going to pick. But now I think Grant Hill is running it. And so it's kind of just like they just kind of pick and choose. And there's guys on that roster now, and you look up and you're like, who's this? How did they get there? I think there's I forgot his name. I have to look it up. But one guy, he has only played 1 game, and I was only like a few minutes in the NBA. He's a forward or a big man.
Here's the roster: Halliburton, Bridges, Johnson, Ingram, Banchero, Portis, Edwards, Brunson, Hart, Jackson, Kessler, Reeves.
Is the white guy named Kessler?
Kessler, Walker Kessler. Yep.
Okay. You had to wonder, like, where is that coming from?
Yeah.
You had LaMelo Ball that wanted to play. They said no. Still trying to figure out like what that was about. There's got to be something to it. But then also they had Trae Young. Now I can understand with Trae, because when you think about Trae Young, He's undersized. You're talking about physical European style ball.
Mhm.
What does he do? He just shoots and he commands the ball a lot, or needs to hold the ball. And I think that's probably why both of them were kind of kept off the team. They have to dominate the ball to have some type of success. And so with Trey, he's gonna just be a shooter. And I think you can find other guys that can be a good complement without having Trey. But they basically wanted to play and just could not. So they got looked over. So that's kind of wild.
LaMelo over maybe Tyrese Halliburton would have been, or maybe LaMelo over Anthony Edwards potentially. But Strick, I love me some Tyrese Halliburton. He's balling. He's got like 20 assists through a few games.
And that's why. I mean, they know that in that setting, you can pretty much just look at his resume and look at the time. You can understand what Tyrese is going to bring. Halliburton's going to bring to the team, and that's it. And that's what they're getting out of him. I think LaMelo would have done some of the same, but it's kind of risky because he gets on the stage. What's he going to do?
The last time he took a ball brother overseas, it didn't go very well.
And been injured. You just haven't been able to see him. So, yeah, I can understand on that why you would pass him up. And I can understand with Trey. I mean, you know, he's going to be facing bigger guards. And, you know, what does he bring?
Okay, so let's talk about LaMelo for a sec from the Hornets' perspective. What do you do? If your star player, your franchise centerpiece wants to play, is that something you say, yeah, go play, you know, get back in shape, keep you happy? Or do you say, we appreciate your enthusiasm, but let's maybe take this off season to recover? What's that line as the organization with your star player?
It is a fine line. I think they get some deference because of the fact that it is for the United States. There's great relationship between the United States and basketball. I think you see a lot of guys not necessarily wanting to play in the World Cup per se.
Yeah.
They'll probably wait until the Olympics. You know, you'll probably see more top name guys doing it on that level. It's still a lot of openness as far as where guys are going to be, where they're going to go, what's going to happen in camp, some of the adjustments and the changes with the new CBA. So there's still some kind of things. And so guys probably are just trying to take them, or maybe it doesn't have the same zest that it used to have in the past. And I think if we don't look up, I think we're going to find out real fast that the world is caught up to us and you know, might get clipped potentially.
Right. It's kind of risky to bank on winning the Olympics every year with the rest of the world catching up, because the U.S. is already in, right? You win the Olympics, you're in. That's how it goes. But you and I were talking before even the roster was fully named. Who's the best player on that team? We don't know. Probably Brandon Ingram. I think Brunson would throw his name into that, you know, discussion somehow.
You would think Anthony Edwards would have
someday.
Edwards would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mikal Bridges?
Definitely not.
That's just the thing. So it's definitely not a loaded team. But Strick, as I look at this team, even compared to that 2004 team, the one that finished third, that 2004 team was Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury, D Wade, Carlos Boozer, Melo, 19-year-old LeBron, Emeka Okafor. You had Matrix on that team, Amari, Tim Duncan, Lamar Odom, Richard Jefferson. That's just the difference between an Olympic roster and a World Cup qualifying roster. There's a huge difference.
Oh yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, the best thing that they can hope for is just to really have a good showing and make a good run, and hopefully let it be for the best. So we'll see. I mean, it's interesting. I will have to say that impressed that they were able to, you know, beat Spain by 10. You know, that was not an easy feat. I think they're labeled number one in the world right now. So I think that was tough.
Last thing before we move on to NFL for the rest of the hour, something that popped into my head. How important is it for Team USA to have guys like Colangelo in the past and now Grant Hill running it, NBA guys in charge of putting Team USA together?
I mean,
does it help grease the wheels at all?
I mean, they've been there. I mean, I think this new generation of NBA guys just they think a little bit differently. I don't know if they have the same. I hope, I can't say for sure. We will see. I hope they would have the same passion to be great and dominate like teams of the past have done, right? Any lackluster play, I mean, let's be real about it. Look at the women's soccer national team, right? You know, you've got your focus in mind on all these other things, but at the end of the day, when it's time to lay it on the line or put up or shut up, you fold up. And sometimes you can get complacent and you can get so lost in all the other distractions out there. And so I'm hoping that this USA team doesn't find themselves in that situation where their eyes are on the prize, and that's going out and being great and dominating.
Night in, night out.
Night in, night out.
He's Eric Strickland. I'm Austin Norman. Good stuff on Keisei Tominaga and Rink Mast, their times with their national teams. Getting started as they prepare for this upcoming college basketball season.
Let's go.
NFL next. That's what we're jumping into. We're a week into preseason. We can already tell you with 100% confidence who is going to be in the Super Bowl. Just kidding. We'll give our best overreactions, our winners and losers, highs and lows from NFL preseason. Really week one after this.
Junior Achievement of Lincoln inspires and prepares young people for success. Learn more of the people and the success stories over the years each Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. for the ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nutrition Authority invites you to save 35 to 75% off at our back-to-school blowout. We're taking our better-than-internet prices and cutting them even deeper, bringing you the biggest sale of the season. Monday, August 14th through 19th, the back-to-school blowout is on at Nutrition Authority. For location information, check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of their family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. This Friday and Saturday, enjoy a 2-day sale on USDA Choice Bacon Wrap Sirloins for just $3.99 per 8-ounce cut. A 5-pound box of snow crab clusters for just $49.99. And when you buy 2.75 liters of Captain Morgan spiced rum, you can get it for just $19.99. Stop by for the 2-day sale this Friday and Saturday at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn. Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Smoked meats, amazing sides. The only problem when they fix you a plate is that at some point, that plate will be empty. But hear me out. What if that plate was never empty? That dream can be your reality with the Mary Ellen's Express Lunch Buffet from 11 to 2 every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday. All you can do with a drink. Tell your boss you're taking a long lunch and get down there. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul at 29th and Pine Lake. Let them fix you a plate. Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives. Involved. The Teammates Mentoring Talk on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com. Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstrats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests over your home. Trust Bats to Rats with a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and
When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, heating and
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticket.com.
Back on the block, he's Strick and Austin Orman. Once again, it is not Manic Monday, but it is Football Monday. NFL preseason is jumping off the charts. Lots of games, lots of stories. Can't get to them all, Austin Orman, but we can touch on some. There's some storylines, some overreactions, as well as just a few underwhelming performances that has you saying, I wonder what's going to happen with this situation if this continues. NFL jumping off. Texans ended up playing the Patriots. They went down 20-9. Vikings went up, and we talked about this one last week. The Vikings on Thursday went with the Seahawks 24-13. Packers got busy on without your boy, Aaron got busy.
My boy Sean Clifford.
Well, Sean Clifford, yeah. He showed improved. 36-19. Giants got took an L to the Lions. Watch out for these doggone pesky Lions. The Lions is one of those teams that you want to keep your eye on because we talked about them on last year. We just didn't know kind of how they were gonna pay. We thought they drafted well. They did well in addressing some issues there in the draft, and so we'll see how that goes. The Dolphins and Tua in the group, I mean, really not too much to worry about that. We're not going to see too much of him anytime soon, but 19-3, Steelers, Bucks. Now here, let's stop here because this is one I kind of want to touch on. Pause. I want to touch on this is because there's a storyline that is creeping up out of the camp there in Tampa. And a lot of that conversations that's going on, because we've talked about who's going to step up. Evans, you don't have Tom Brady anymore. Who's going to fill in and become the number one? And guess what the word out of the camp is saying? They're basically saying that our boy, Nebraska's own, Trey Palmer, is looking like the number one option out of Tampa. Go figure. Now, my question, and this is going to be a question I also have with Brian Munson. What does that type of, that microscope that points itself on Trey Palmer coming in as off the portal, doing what he did in that season that he was here at Nebraska, going in the third round, now looking as the number one option, they're saying he's playing phenomenal. What does that do like for Nebraska? Who we're going to talk about with the receiving room. We don't really have many options. I know you're going to address that at some point when we talk about Nebraska football.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt for now. An eyes emoji, certainly. Good for Trey. I mean, if he's making a splash in preseason, that's awesome. He was drafted by them. They like his talent. And that was never the question with him. The talent and the speed were always there, very apparent. I'm going to pump the brakes a little bit and say, I'll throw it on the back burner to keep it warm because I think there should be a role for Trey Palmer, even in year one. I think he can stretch the field and hopefully Baker Mayfield's arm holds up well enough to get the ball down the field to Trey Palmer. But Mike Evans is the absolute unquestioned number one on that team. So there's a big difference between operating like a number one in preseason and overtaking Mike Evans. Mike Evans is your prototypical number one build, 6'5", 235, 240. Can run like the wind, sure hands, red zone monster. So it's Mike Evans' team at this point. It's Mike Evans and Levante David's team, really. until further notice. But that's not to say there's not a role for Trey Palmer. And if he steps up in year one, plays that, kind of 1B second fiddle kind of role, does his job well, I think it's just more evidence that the transfer portal works and that Nebraska can continue to capitalize off of it and send guys on to the next level.
Yes. We're moving on. The Washington Commanders ended up taking out the Cleveland Browns. We had talked about Deshaun Watson, what it's going to look like for him. Didn't really play much in this game. Ended up with 3 for 3, coming in, just getting probably just one set, one play sequence out of that game. But David Bell, Big Ten alum, ends up having 4 targets, 3 for 33, 11-yard average, and a TD. So it's good to see that some of the Big Ten faithful are doing well there. Not anything we necessarily need to address, but I just wanted to just make mention of that.
I'm just going to throw DTR out there, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Maybe Jalen Hurts light. Not going to ever, I don't think he ever reaches that level, but as far as backups go or a changeup to Deshaun Watson, I like where he's headed.
Yeah. You like where that's going? You did have a Russell Wilson sighting. Looked a lot better, I will say. I've got to be honest. When he came in, he didn't really come in and play the whole game, but he got a lot of reps in that game. Ends up with 93 yards, no interceptions, 1 sack, a 102.4 QB rating. But what I did say, he had a nice drive where he was able to take them down and score. He looked old Russell Wilson-esque, where he was, kind of evading in the pocket, getting out, making good throws on the run. What does that mean for them? We don't know yet. No Kyler Murray sighting in this last game. They end up coming up with the win. But I thought that was something to kind of, be happy about. Jerry Jeudy dropped a couple of passes, but ends up redeeming himself for a touchdown reception from Russell Wilson. So it was good to see. Hopefully they can start to work some things out there, Broncos Nation.
I think they have a really underrated wide receiver duo in Cortland Sutton and Jerry
Jeudy.
Jeudy.
No question.
If Russ is back to being Russ, those are guys that I'm excited to watch. They'll have something to say in the AFC West if all of them stay healthy and stay effective. But talk about Big Ten, Stricky. Purdue's own David Blau, the game winner. Well, I guess they've only brought him within 1 point, but David Blau, that's right. Getting that preseason run for the Cardinals. I'm here for it.
Get it in. All good. Let's move on. Saturday, August 12th, we found that there were some good games there as well. The Bills and the Colts, your Colts, got after it a little bit. And, we had a Barkley's. We had a Matt Barkley sighting.
He's back.
How does that happen? But nonetheless, he did. He played actually pretty well, going 14 for 15 for 172 yards in that game. A 154 QB rating, 2 TDs. He looked actually pretty good. They went with Minshew a lot. Anthony Richardson. What was your thoughts? Rating was terrible. Didn't really play very well. Made some mistakes out there. But for the most part, what was your initial thoughts of seeing him for the first time?
Meh.
Just
The interception was bad. He probably needs to throw it away. And I don't know if this was a more veteran receiver covering for a young quarterback or not. But Isaiah McKenzie, who they just signed from Buffalo over the offseason, and wide receivers coach Reggie Wayne. Yes, that Reggie Wayne. Both said that the wide receiver took responsibility for that pick. He broke off his route, wasn't on the same page with the quarterback. But regardless, that's not a throw you make. When a play's that broken down, don't try to make something out of nothing. And that concerns me a little bit. How do you break that habit? Especially if you're throwing off your back foot, running away from pressure. Just throw it out of bounds, live to see the next play.
It's like he tried to look like he was what's our guy down in Kansas City?
Mahomes. Yeah.
In my mind, when I'm trying to think of something, it looked like he tried to throw that sidearm off the back foot like Mahomes, but he just could not get it done.
He couldn't, and very few guys can. From what I was seeing from people who know football better than I do, is that of his 4 other misses, they were high and wide, which is what it was at Florida. So you don't expect those issues to be ironed out over one off season. But he looked generally in command, in control. If Alec Pierce doesn't drop that pass, he has a touchdown. The raw numbers look better. It's fine. Kind of what I expected. Whatever.
Moving on with the Titans end up coming up short to the Chicago Bulls, 23-17.
The Chicago who?
Oh, Bears. Dang, that's the NBA mindset. Great catch, though. Great catch, my friend. Chicago Bears. I almost did it again. But here's the scary thing about what you got going on with the Titans, right? Great running game. You already know that's going to be there. But Malik Willis and Will Levis both struggled. And we know that Tannehill's a guy, but at the same time, they're really trying to figure out what they're going to do with Malik Willis. And at the other time, they just drafted a high draft in Will Levis, hoping that would pan out. Early, season jitters, kind of let him learn and just continue to grow out of that. But which one of the two out of that do you see possibly coming forth?
Neither.
Oh gosh,
I want it to be Malik Willis. I think that's a guy that was given a little bit of a short shrift. I don't think Tannehill was doing, the right thing and kind of pushing him to the side and ignoring him. You know where I stand on Will Levis, Mr. Eat a banana with the peel on, Mr. Mayo in my coffee. I think it's going to be tough for the Titans to keep pace. It looks like Jacksonville has their quarterback of at least the near future in Trevor Lawrence, who I'm high on. I know CJ Stroud struggled, but I was very high on him in the pre-draft process. I think Houston has their quarterback of at least the near future, if not beyond. So really it's down to Tennessee and Indianapolis. Do they have their quarterback situation figured out? I don't think either place can feel very confident in their direction moving forward.
I'd have to agree with you. And then as we continue to move on, an absolute rout coming out of Carolina from the New York Jets. No Ron going in there, absolute domination of the Carolina Passers. Not much out of Bryce Young. Probably just a couple of just sets that they were able to run through. But 4 for 6, nothing to write home to mom about. Matt Carroll got most of the run there. But what you saw is a nice battle ensuing for the Jets. Both quarterbacks playing quite well. There's a high competition for that number 2 spot there. Zach Wilson and Tim Boyle going at it. Boyle going 9 for 10 with a 101.7 QB rating, and Zach Wilson going 14 for 20 with a 102 QB rating. So they were banging it out a little bit there in Carolina.
That they were not overly concerned with Bryce Young. Again, always like to see better. But what about Israel Abanikanda?
Yeah.
I love that name.
Great name, right? Great name there. Nothing to write home about on the next one. Cowboys end up coming up short to the Jags.
Your boy Nathan Rourke had to play the preseason, though.
I know, that's
like
crazy.
Eli Manning-esque.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I did like what I saw. He was he had probably the best pass I've ever seen in an early preseason game, where he looked like he was about to go down. He was almost sacked. He comes up, getting tackled, whips a freaking liner on a rope for a touchdown. I thought that was pretty dope as well. Chargers defeat the Rams. Eagles come up short to the Ravens. But one of the things I want to get into before we get into break, and it is 2 things with the 49ers, right? Trey Lance situation and Nick Bosa situation. Nick Bosa is on a holdout. He is sitting out. And per Article 7, Section 7H of the collective bargaining agreement, it's going to cost him. It's going to cost him a pretty penny. He's fined $40,000 for each day of training camp that he's missed. But he's also coming into that game against the Raiders, $992,166. Wait, $992,166 is on the line for that game alone. He has a $17 million base, $17.8 million base, and it's kind of crazy. My thing is, you have a contract. Why risk it for something to try to renegotiate? Play it out. I mean, that's a pretty good penny. I understand that you're trying to maximize, but you're gonna, what say you on that? And then tell me about Trey Lance and what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I'm just tired of hearing about so many holdouts. I get it. Guys got to get their money, but you signed the contract, go play. And also, you're Nick Bosa. The 49ers are going to re-sign you. You will get your money. Just be there. Just practice. Like, it's not that big a deal. I'm sure he's staying in shape, working out, doing drills on his own. But really, do we have to do this with every good player? Can't we just play football?
Can we
Or
just get
also,
along?
why wasn't this done earlier?
Similar with Jonathan Taylor's situation, but he has some injuries.
Different position.
Situation. Different
yeah,
position.
similar but different.
Yeah.
Trey Lance, though, woof, sacked 4 times in a preseason game. I get it. The Raiders, are aggressive, but to be sacked 4 times, just let go of the ball, right?
Yeah.
And I get you lose McGlinchey as your right tackle. He's out of there, but
is it like ring
not a great
rust?
Sign.
Is it like ring rust? Is it just
Could be
one of those situations? Again, you go in practice. Yes, you have scrimmage times and situations, but seeing with the lights on and the eyes on you and the cameras are flashing, it can be a little bit different.
It just worries me, though, because what was one of the big selling points about Trey Lance? His mobility. Maybe all 5 offensive line positions collapsed. He didn't have anywhere to run. That could be. But the point of drafting Trey Lance was to get him on the move to some degree. So to be sacked 4 times, don't like that as a sign.
Yeah, not good at all. Hey, text line is open as well. Sutter Heyman text line, we thank them for the support of the station, 93.7 The Ticket. 402-464-5685. Is there any questions that would pop up? We do have one on the text line real quick. Unnamed texter 1545 says the number 1 receiver tweet was from a meme the Buccaneers count. Okay, I'm a Bucs fan. Mike Evans and Godwin are clearly the top wide receivers. Show you right. Hey, but listen, and answer this too. I love that because I like Mike Evans. I think he needs to show improve this year. I think it's an important year for him to really come and go to another level because they're going to need him. But here's the thing I want to throw out to you. Could Trey Palmer be a tremendous slot for that team, giving you a 3-loaded, weapon for the Bucs? Unnamed texter 1545. Shout out in the text line if you got something for that, being a big Bucs fan. We appreciate you guys for tapping in on the text line as well. There's a few more out there, but we can't get to it. We got to get to a quick break real quick. We'll come back and we'll holler at is it no, that's next hour. Who we got next? What we got next?
We got Michael Orr.
Oh, that's
We'll talk about that just
more
broke
football.
about an hour ago.
Oh, that's a sad story.
And getting worse.
We'll come back and talk about Michael Orr, what he has to say about his adoption, and if it was the truth or if it was a lie. We'll be right back. 93.7 The Ticket. We're on the block right after this.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Sutter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Sutter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're
definitely coming back.
Sutter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SutterHeyman.com.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
You deserve the best. With the Liberty First MasterCard, you can pay down your high-rate debt and could save hundreds when you transfer the balance. The Liberty First Credit Union MasterCard has no balance transfer fees, no cash advance fees, and no annual fee. And with a fixed rate as low as 9.99% APR and you choose rewards, you'll be able to manage your card your way. Visit libertyfirstcu.com. Rates and terms are based on your credit and subject to change. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
This is Brian at Midwest Bank, and we've been proudly serving clients in the Lincoln community since 2008, and we're ready to open a second location in January 2024 at 70th and Pioneers Boulevard. Our new branch will provide all the convenient services you're looking for in a bank, along with the friendly staff we're known for. Whether you're starting a business or expanding your business, our team is here for you, your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com, member FDIC.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box. I will probably not touch the fuse box. Sip, do you remember what happened last time? Yeah, I remember. What happened? Half of the city block lost power. And? My chicken condo went haywire. That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead? Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415, or online at ambitionelectric.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family, and as part of their family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. This Friday and Saturday, enjoy a 2-day sale. USDA choice fake rubber $3.99 per 8-ounce cut. A 5-pound box of snow crab clusters for just $49.99. And when you buy 2 1.75 liters of Captain Morgan spiced rum, you can get it for just $19.99. Stop by for the 2-day sale this Friday and Saturday at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Smoked meats, amazing sides. The only problem when they fix you a plate is that at some point, that plate will be empty. But hear me out. What if that plate was never empty? That dream can be your reality with the Mary Ellen's Express Lunch Buffet. From 11 to 2 every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday. One price, all you can eat, and it even comes with a drink. Tell your boss you're taking a long lunch and get down there. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul at 29th and Pine Lake. Let them fix the
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, mostly sunny skies and north breeze with some cool temperatures this afternoon. We'll see a high of around 76. Night clear skies with a low of around 53. Tomorrow we'll see more sunshine, a little bit more warmth forecast. Tomorrow we'll see an afternoon high of around 83. Meteorologist Kyle Puck, 93.7 The Ticket, and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wrapping up on the Berman, he's Eric Strickland. Strick, you ever seen The Blind Side?
I did. I did. I
What do
got
you
a chance to see it. I thought it was actually a good movie. It's very touching. My heart was quite warm. I'm one of those guys that actually I can get emotional. If it touches me deep, like I might have to kind of catch myself,
Allergies pop up during movies sometimes.
Little wipe, and it was a really good story. It was a really good movie. I have to ask. I just don't know. I mean, is there some friction that ended up happening? There's some things that kind of just have you kind of looking at the situation, just kind of, wow, like, how did it get this far? Like, how did it go that far without that? Or how do you even live through that and it's not authentic? That's a tough one for me.
That it is. So we know in the movie it does take some creative liberties, right? It's not a one-to-one retelling. But some news broke today, Strick, that Michael Orr, the subject of the movie, offensive tackle from Ole Miss, of course, played in the NFL, recently retired or is taking a break from football. He comes out today and says that his adoption by Sean and Leanne Toohey was a sham, a fake adoption. He says they took him into their home. That part is still true. He is still living with them. But instead of legally adopting him, what Orsa is saying is happening is they tricked him into not signing adoption papers, but rather conservatorship papers, which allowed them to make business deals in Michael Orr's name, get the movie made, and profit. So Michael Orr is saying that essentially the Tui family made all the money from The Blind Side. He didn't see any of it, and that's wrong.
Yeah, I think that's the case. Now, so here's how this can happen. We we can get into our careers. We have great careers. The limelight is on you. You don't want to make waves. You don't want to cause no friction or no problems. Things are going well. And then it's the aftermath. It's when we retire, we may go through divorce. We may deal with some ups and downs, some depression may kicks in. Then you have a lot of time in retirement to reflect, man. I mean, Austin, there's days. This is why I'm grateful for 93.7 The Ticket doing this. It keeps you occupied. Just some of the other business stuff that I'm operating in, it keeps you occupied in your mind. An idle mind is a resting place for just so many playgrounds of thoughts to get to going. And I think when you have that and you start to reflect and you start to think back, and then you kind of like, man, that woman did me dirt, or those people were really nasty to me, or I wish I would have handled that better with my parents, or you know what, in school, that dude was a bully. I mean, like, you really start to kind of process all the things in life because there's just nothing but time. And I think he probably went through that situation in this process and began to reflect on how much, because when you're making the money, you don't really kind of think about it. You don't consider it. You're focused on college. You're at Ole Miss. You're in the lineman room. You know what I mean? You're in the NFL. You got all this other stuff. And so you're really focused on, you're happy because everybody is, benefiting from that. I'm sure he's got some great marketing opportunities out of it. But then you start reflecting on all that paper, and how big is it really going to be? You know what I mean? Like I got invited to another movie. I forgot to tell you. I'm going to be in another movie coming up. We're going to probably shoot sometime in September, October.
Space Jam 3?
No. But the thing about that is you just don't know. You don't know to what level that movie's going to have success. For example, in Friday the movie, and I'm going to let you get on it. Friday the movie, Ice Cube, they paid them guys maybe some of them $500. I think Chris Tucker said I got a certain amount of $1,000 and as much Snoop Dogg as I can handle. You know what I mean? And then other guys, they really took just small deals. It was good homegrown movie, not a crazy budget. And at the end of it, it's one of the highest grossest urban style movies, of all time. And all that money that was made, you got these little royalty checks because that's not what was negotiated in that deal. So I think this could be one of those situations when you begin to look back at it, you don't realize to the extent that somebody's really going to be looking at your story. Like, I couldn't imagine writing a book and somebody, coming out and buying my book. You know what I mean? Right. I'm like, somebody who's going to buy that, And I think that's probably what happened.
Right. So, yeah, Michael Orr said as much. So he did retire in 2016 officially. I forgot it was that long ago. But since he's had time, he started looking into it more and more. And that's why this is coming up now. Right now, it's a lot of he said, she said. The family says they split the money 5 ways. Michael Orr says he never saw any of it. But I saw this tweet, Strick, and it just made me laugh. If Reggie Bush had to give back his 2005 Heisman, does Sandra Bullock have to give back her Oscar?
I did hear that.
Is that how this works?
Oh, gosh. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, who's to say? We don't know, but I just think it's sad, but you hope that they are able to kind of come to agreements on that and work that situation out.
Right. It's one thing if they were strangers. It's another when they said they were family, and that extra interpersonal dynamic sure doesn't make things easier.
No,
it does not. Let's turn the page from the NFL to college football. Some Nebraska football headlines to get to, a lot of stuff to get to in the Big Ten. And then we'll chat with Brian Munson of On3, little recruiting update, talk about the wide receiver position, what that means for Nebraska in recruiting. All that and more still ahead, hour 2.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Nutrition Authority invites you to save 35 to 75% off at our back-to-school blowout. We're taking our better-than-internet prices and cutting them even deeper, bringing you the biggest sale of the season. Monday, August 14th through 19th, the back-to-school blowout is on at Nutrition Authority. For location information, check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more today at GainaTrucking.com.
There's a buzz in the air at Kansas. Maybe it's the roar of fans here at the track, or the anticipation of the playoffs as drivers fight to move on to the next round and keep their championship hopes alive. Maybe it's the pulse of the heartland, the thrill of speed, or the sounds of thrill sizzling air. What it is, it will be one memorable weekend. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Kansas Speedway, September 8th through the 10th. Get your tickets today at kansasspeedway.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and Bob just wanted to say thank you for a record-setting July here at Koppel. The summer sales event continues in August, and the incentives are crazy good. Check this out. We got 0.9% financing along with a $2,500 trade-in rebate on select new models. You heard right. 9% financing has been extended along with a trade-in rebate. Also, our GM certified used inventory is filling up fast. So make that money-saving drive to Koppel. It's just south of the interstate, or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with roof credit.
It's not often a man wakes up and says, I feel the best I have in years. We hear this all the time at Limitless Mail. And it can happen to you when you go to Limitless Mail and get a blood test to see what your body is missing. That's how simple it is. Schedule a free consult with Limitless Mail. Discuss your symptoms. Do the blood test. If your lab results say you're low in testosterone, we can fix that. Age is just a number. You can feel your best again. Just ask Limitless Mail.
Morning. It's quiet. In a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Smoked meats, amazing sides. The only problem when they fix you a plate is that at some point, that plate will be empty. But hear me out. What if that plate was never empty? That dream can be your reality with the Mary Ellen's Express Lunch Buffet. From 11 to 2 every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday. One price, all you can eat, and it even comes with a drink. Tell your boss you're taking a long lunch and get down there. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul at 29th and Pine Lake. Let them fix you a plate.
Vershawn Jackson for Brant Excavating. Brant's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brant is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brant Excavating at 402-474-413 or go to BrantExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brant Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go big Brant.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Nick is here. What'd you call him earlier?
Yeah, he had a name. I guess he said a name.
Can you hear Nick?
I said you look like a big swimming pool. You look like a big swimming pool over there. I called you Big Swim.
All
right. Should I tell the people what you called me the second week that I ever coached you?
Don't hang that over my head.
Track record here.
Early break with Sip and Jake. 8 every weekday morning. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three. He's going to go out of here. That's the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting in mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Act 2 on your Monday. Thanks for being along for the ride here from 2 to 4 every weekday. I'm Austin Norman. He is Eric Strickland. Great first hour. We got into some basketball FIBA World Cup headlines, Nebraska style, and NFL preseason. This hour, we're getting into college football, a lot of it in the Big Ten. And then also we'll check in with Brian Munson of Husker Online and get a little bit of a recruiting update and some thoughts from Brian as we're 17 days away from kickoff between Nebraska football and Minnesota. Strick, the one place you can watch the game, since it's a Thursday night kickoff, is happened to be located at 27th and Pine Lake here in Lincoln. Where would that be?
That's Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Yes. Got to go out there. 27th and Pine Lake. Tell Sonia and Charles and everybody in there that On the Block sent you, and they will take good care of you. They are always ready to serve.
If you're listening and you've been to Mary Ellen's, this is where we want your help, your engagement here on the text line 402-464-5685. When you watch Nebraska versus Minnesota at Mary Ellen's, what are you getting? What's your go-to? Drop that on the Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Starter Heyman also sponsors our video streams. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, or even Allo Channel 951, drop a comment. Let us know what your go-to order is at Mary Ellen's for a shout out. A two-part shout out, one for them and one for you here on the block. All right, Strick, let's get into some Big Ten news and just some thoughts. The first thing coming out of Nebraska over the weekend, Coach Matt Rule says Xavier Betts came up to him, said, "Coach, my heart's not in it." He's off the team again. What a wild saga.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not a psychologist, so I'm not going to diagnose and say that he is of a certain, polar.
Mm-hmm.
Some would say it's the behavior seems very bipolar-ish, where you're all in, you out, you come back. Whenever you have a chance, the thing about it, now all of us have an opportunity to do so, as far as make a change, make an adjustment. We can understand things that we may be dealing with, changes of routine, changes of faces in the room. Those things can lead you to kind of just be like, feel a certain type of way. And he was given that opportunity and then sits down and he's welcomed back. My thing about the welcoming back, I understand that people go through issues, stress, all kinds of stuff can kind of pop up in those types of situations. But at the end of the day, I tend to look beyond myself in those situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way that it was done, we don't know if it was the injury, we don't know if it's the rehab, we don't know any details other than the fact of what he said to Matt Rule, which he gave at the press conference. My thing is, I look from a standpoint of how can I not only serve myself? Anything that I do, it's not for the benefit only of myself, it's for the benefit of the team. And when I see anything that's not operating in that form, it kind of irks me a little bit, right? That just those things of selfish. And I'm not saying that he's that. I understand all of the nuance of how things can happen that can lead you down that pathway. But when we're given, another opportunity, sometimes you gotta, when somebody opens the door and lets you back, especially the way that it was done, I think Matt Rule was seemingly taken by surprise based on what he shared. And I think you got to try to see it through as far as possible. Even if you don't want to play, still stay with the team, but I can't judge the young man because I don't know what's going on with him. I'm just kind of telling you maybe how I would have dealt with it personally if it was me, but that's only the way I can see it.
I like where you're coming from. I'd like to think I would, handle it in a similar way. From a coaching standpoint, it doesn't make Garrett McGuire's life easier on the field. I mean, that's a guy that you think was going to play a role for Matt Rule's job. You don't think it makes it easier. But on the flip side, maybe it does. If a guy's not going to be fully bought in and he's just along for the ride, at least he, ripped the Band-Aid off, right? He's not there, not putting in 100% effort in the weight room like you're asking for. Again, I'm not saying he wasn't, but if his heart wasn't in it and you get throughout the season, it gets long, he's like, hey, I'm not going to play. I don't want to play. What's the point of me doing this? I'm sure he has those conversations with teammates. I'm sure even subconsciously that comes across in behavior. So if he's not going to be 100%, bought in, ready to go, playing a role, probably better that he's out the door instead of hanging around. Just, I think that'll take away another level of distraction. At least now, right? He's not stringing you along saying, well, maybe I will, maybe I won't. It's just a cleaner break. As messy as it is seeming, there's a break-off point now. You have to credit Xavier Betts for the work he did, 21 credit hours over the summer to get back eligible. It's not like he was just given a mulligan, given a free pass back onto the team. So you have to commend him for the work he put in. And my first thought was, well, what's the point of doing all that just to quit again?
Yeah.
But school serves you well in the long run. That work ethic, I think, is still there. He proved to himself he could do something. So from the outside, as a fan, it's like, well, why would you put yourself through that if you weren't going to play? But I still think there's value in what Xavier Betts did, even though we did make the decision to walk away again.
I would have to agree with you. And so my question then comes in, being that you did go through that whole, 21 credits is a lot, man.
That's 7 classes.
Man.
That's
Yeah, I
insane.
remember I just did 9 and I was like, mine was just tore out the frame. But I have to agree with you. I think you made a good point, though, that it's better to just go ahead and part ways in those situations, because the one thing that you don't want is what's their mantra?
1% better each day.
So if you don't feel that you can give that, you can understand by way of the mantra of bowing out. You know what I mean? And maybe if I would have went in with Coach Rule, that's what I would have said. Maybe would have said, I would have probably came from the standpoint of, Coach, listen, I know what you believe in, and I know what you're trying to instill in this team. My mind space is not in a space that I can give you that 1%, getting better each day. And being that that's the case, I think it's to the betterment of the team. That's some preparation work, but that's kind of maybe a good way that you can understand. If you're not able to adhere to the mantra, then it's better to bow out.
Right. So I see both sides of it. You wish the young man the best. Next man up has to be the mentality now for Nebraska. The guys that were presumably behind him on the depth chart and in the rep count got to take a step forward. And I think that makes recruiting the wide receiver position that much more important. And we'll talk to Brian Munson about that here in about 10, 15 minutes or so on the block. Strick, let's turn our attention up north to the Mitten State, to Michigan. Jim Harbaugh, no longer suspended for 4 games. He's appealing it, going to go through the process. So he will be on the sideline for at least 12 regular season games for Michigan season. But there was a deal struck between Harbaugh and the NCAA that it would be that 4-game. But the NCAA's Committee on Infractions panel declined. They said, no, we're not going to accept this. So this Jim Harbaugh situation is going to go to a full hearing. eventually a full disciplinary hearing for, illegal recruiting during dead periods, stuff of that nature. So Jim Harbaugh here for a full season. I think that's good for Michigan, a team with national championship aspirations, but we know how the NCAA works. And I have a feeling we're going to be hearing about this hearing throughout the season and probably into next offseason.
Yeah. How does it play out, though? See, that's the thing. Is it a distraction? Is it something that hinders recruiting? Is it something that people can rally behind? I mean, like there's different things. There's different ways you can take it, right? As a team, I would be positioning it for a rally point. They're trying to come after us. This is all about, trying to take us out. We know we've got the best team that can take out Georgia. But, I mean, that's how I'd be selling it, But yeah, it's not going to be a good look when you have a full trial type of situation going on amongst the team, because the news is going to come out, the tweets are going to come out, the photos and all the writings, and the questions are going to be asked in media. So they're going to have to come up with a plan on how to address it, similar to what they did at Big Ten Media Day. Is going to have to figure out how to address it.
So Harbaugh didn't comment through his lawyer. Michigan didn't comment, saying it was ongoing. The NCAA did comment, though. This came from the vice president, Derek Crawford of the NCAA, who said, the Michigan infractions case is related to impermissible on and off-campus recruiting during the COVID-19 dead period and impermissible coaching activities, not a cheeseburger. Weird throwaway line. Crawford also said the COI may also reject a deal and negotiated resolution if it determines the agreement is not in the best interests of the association, the NCAA, or the penalties are not reasonable. The NCAA is basically saying 4 games wasn't good enough. Do better. Michigan can still, self-impose a penalty on Harbaugh. If it's harsh enough, it might be enough. But again, I think this is going to go to a hearing probably next year over the offseason. And I think that's going to be, at least on Harbaugh's mind, like you said, it's going to be a distraction. But let me play the reverse card on you here, Strick. What if Harbaugh says, nope, not dealing with this, and takes an NFL job next offseason?
Does it go away?
They can't suspend him in the NFL.
Yeah.
Especially if the penalties are just levied on Jim Harbaugh, not Michigan.
The options were there for him to move. I think he took a couple meetings, it looked like. Found that he wanted to run it back and give, his Wolverines an opportunity to give another crack at it. Interesting. Yeah, you can't. You cannot suspend a man that is not
coaching at your level.
Not at your level. So it could be in the game cards. But who would it be, an internal takeover or would it be an external? If it went down to Michigan, that's something to think about.
Michigan has had some candidates on its staff before. It all comes down to, do you trust them to keep what Jim Harbaugh does moving forward? Is there a guy that was an assistant under Harbaugh that has head coaching experience, coordinator experience you would trust to come fill that void? Michigan's hoping not to have to deal with it, I can assume. Jim Harbaugh might be looking to avoid it. But maybe there is someone out there that says, this is my opportunity. I can go back home. I can coach Michigan. But the expectations would be as high as anyone, this side of the Mississippi, really, with where Michigan is right now, with how they're competing with and defeating Ohio State on the field. I don't think Michigan can be the championship favorite, but there's a reason they've taken over as the Big Ten favorite. They built to it. They did. So as hard as it is to build, what we've seen, Strick, across college football and sports in general is it's almost harder to be the guy after the guy.
Right. I would have to agree. It is. It's tough. I think one of the better ones to have done it, obviously, is Ryan Day, and now he's under scrutiny for it. I mean, there are some that have done pretty well. Who was down at Orgeron, took over and did a wonderful job there. I mean, there's some that were able to kind of do that. I even think, few Nebraska coaches after Osborne, Pelini.
Well, Osborne taking over from Devaney.
Yeah, that was a good one. Who took over after at Colorado after Neuheisel? Can't remember who that was. You guys know. Sauter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Like there's been some coaches out there that have been able to really do a tremendous job. The one that I have a question about, Austin.
Gary Barnett.
Okay, no, he's just all right. The one I really have a question about though is what happens in Alabama when Saban leaves.
I think there are a lot of fascinating ways that could go. What do you think happens? I want your answer first.
I mean,
I'll give you mine.
Think about it. I mean, he has a tree that can easily, if they want to, come back. But they've had success where they're at, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have Clemson, you have Georgia. Yeah, they build programs of their own at this point. So now they've got trees. Like it's kind of crazy. But that's the one I'm really interested in taking a look at once that kind of pans out.
There have been so many guys, like you mentioned, off of that Saban tree that have gone on to coordinator experience or head coach experience.
Yeah, Scott Frost is open.
He's available.
He can go down to Alabama and turn it around.
Here's a question for you, text line 402-464-5685. Who retires first, Nick Saban or John Cook?
Ooh.
Text line, let us know what you think. We have a couple people saying Harbaugh is going to go to the Cowboys after McCarthy gets the boot.
Yeah. I mean, would you not take that job, though?
How could you not?
Why would you not?
Everyone would love that soap opera
Why
between Jerry and Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm all for that smoke. I want it. Now, who retired? Who comes up? Man, it just seems like freaking Jerry Jones has been there forever, bro. It's like like he's the everlasting man, man. He's
drinking unicorn
blood. He is drinking unicorn. I don't know. He's found the fountain of youth. He's found Shangri-La. I don't know what it is, bro, but he's hanging on in there. I thought he'd been done by now. I think the franchise has a Laker moment when he leaves, though.
Oh.
Feel me on that.
Yeah.
After Jerry Buss, there was that little void before Jeannie, and finally, I mean, I think one of his other sons took over first, and then Jeannie finally was able to capture it and kind of get it back rebuilt. But how far do they fall after Jerry leaves? Or do you think the Suns have a good handle on it at this point?
I don't agree with everything Stephen Jones does as GM. There's some puzzling moves, but they did just get Zach Martin extended today, so tip the cap there. My question is, as big as Jerry Jones is, as much influence as he carries, could they be better with a change of leadership?
Ooh.
Would not having Jerry Jones hanging over everything,
hovering, and
would it free people up to make different decisions? Again, I don't know the ins and outs of how the Cowboys work, but we know Jerry Jones has a large impact and influence on that organization. Some of it good, I'm sure, but I'm willing to bet there are ways that people are like, I'm tired of Jerry, looking over my shoulder, breathing down my neck the whole time. So maybe a change would do the organization some good. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. We'll see.
One thought says John Cook goes 2 more years. Saban goes 4 more. I can see it.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Saban actually looks good.
It moves
like
pretty well.
Still, he doesn't look like Andy Reid. Andy Reid, is kind of just, you do the hokey pokey, and he's just kind of moseying on over there. He had some troubles for a little bit, and he's kind of figured out how to contain the little frustration parts of him to keep his blood pressure in order.
Right.
But yeah, man, I think Saban still looks like he's got. I could see going another 3-4.
So much of coaching, though, Strick, is not just about how you feel physically, but do you feel young, right? You still have that verve, that excitement, that energy. We know Nick Saban's going to play the old man saying, get off my lawn in a lot of ways, but you still see that fire. You still see that drive every offseason. You still see that out of John Cook. He's still, as excited and fired up as John Cook gets. It feels like he still has that same intensity, that same passion for the game.
I wonder where Nebraska's program goes too.
That's just the thing. I mean, talk about a coaching tree. As good as Saban's is in football, John Cook's at least rivals it in volleyball.
I wonder that is an intriguing thing to me, is where does are the programs able to continue to, because just look at your favorite school, Do you think they have kept up the measure, and do you think he can keep it going down to Duke?
I'm still in wait and see mode,
Yeah.
but I was encouraged by year one. I absolutely was. Again, it's how do you blend the old and the new? Like John Cook took over from a national title winning coach in Terry Pettit, who laid the ground floor for him. Tom Osborne took over from Bob Devaney after he just won a couple in a row. Saban took over an Alabama team that it was at a relative bottom, for them. Dabo Swinney took over a team that hadn't gotten over the hump. Kirby Smart took over a team that Mark Richt had raised back up, but couldn't win the big one. So I think for all those people, it's the blend of how do I copy enough success without trying to be a clone, without trying to be someone
and still be myself,
right?
And have my own imprint on the program or whatever it is.
Right. Because all coaches have strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
That's just a thing. So how do you maintain the strengths while shoring up the weaknesses? Plenty of big picture questions for programs to answer, in the somewhat near future. Let's stick a pin in that. Maybe revisit it in the crossover. We got Brian Munson on the line. We'll get to him, Husker Online recruiting expert. We'll talk some Husker football and such with him next.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family, and as part of their family, will save you money on your meat and groceries. This Friday and Saturday, enjoy a 2-day sale on USDA Choice Bacon Wrapped Sirloins for just $3.99 per 8-ounce cut. A 5-pound box of snow crab clusters for just $49.99. And when you buy 2 1.75 liters of Captain Morgan spiced rum, you can get it for just $19.99. Stop by for the 2-day sale this Friday and Saturday at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Proud to be voted Best Vape Shop.
Generation V
is thrilled to announce our newest location is now open at 27th and Superior.
Generation V.
Explore with the largest selection of vape, Delta 8, Kratom, all your favorite brands of disposables, e-liquid, and premium THCA flower.
Generation V.
We'll guide you through our extensive collection to help you find the perfect fit.
Generation V.
With locations in Lincoln, Omaha, Seward, York, Kearney, and Beatrice. Visit our newest store now open at 27th and Superior in Lincoln. GenerationV.com. E6 contain nicotine. Nicotine is a addictive chemical.
Warning, this ad will use the F word often, so listen at your own risk. Family fun, fun with friends, freedom from fuel, free Yeti cooler, free driveway delivery. Hey, this is Carl from Nebraska Golf Carts and Priced Right Auto, and we have the all-electric Bentelli Fun Carts, and they are a blast. Plenty of fun colors, and these street-legal carts come with both 4 and 6 passenger. Tell us you heard us on the ticket and get a free Yeti cooler with your purchase. Hurry, supply is limited. Check them out at 1235 West O in Lincoln or NebraskaGolfCarts.com.
Vershawn Jackson for Brant Excavating. Brant's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brant is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brant Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrantExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brant Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go big Brant!
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through August 15th are $2 off packaged grass-fed, grass-finished New York strip with limit of 2 per visit. And don't forget to check out their Friday feast this week and every week. Plus, big news, they have 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
It's not often a man wakes up and says, I feel the best I have in years. We hear this all the time at Limitless Mail, and it can happen to you when you go to Limitless Mail and get a blood test to see what your body is missing. That's how simple it is. Schedule a free consult with Limitless Mail. Discuss your symptoms. Do the blood test. If your lab results say you're low in testosterone, we can fix that. Age is just a number. You can feel your best again. Just ask Limitless Mail.
Lane's Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
We have 2 boys, so we needed more space. We lived in a townhouse, so we decided to build.
Casey Bowman and her husband Joe built their first home with us. This is Bob Benish of Aspen Builders. Working with the Bowmans was fantastic.
After the first meeting, we really liked them as people.
I was really skeptical about the whole building process, more so than Joe was. If there were problems or issues along the way, they called and explained everything. They just really helped ease my mind.
They were really good about giving us options as far as what fit in the budget, what didn't fit in the budget. They have a designer, Rachel.
She was amazing. She was very helpful in making sure that our house turned out good. I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change the lot. I wouldn't change colors. I love everything about it. Everything. It's perfect for us.
Like the Bowmans, you too can make your dream home a reality. Call us at 423-6811 or online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
There's a buzz in the air at Kansas. Maybe it's the roar of fans here at the track, or the anticipation of the playoffs as drivers fight to move on to the next round and keep their championship hopes alive. Maybe it's the pulse of the heartland, the thrill of speed, or the sounds of grills sizzling in the campgrounds. Whatever it is, it will be one memorable weekend. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Kansas Speedway, September 8th through the 10th. Get your tickets today at kansasspeedway.com.
Need service on your home air conditioner? Call the company Lincoln has counted on since 1952, Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. No matter what brand you have, when you need service, you want Bryant's experienced pros working for you. Friendly NATE certified technicians with the tools, training, and technology to restore your comfort quickly. No matter what brand, when you need service, just call Bryant. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are on the block, Austin Norman and Eric Strickland with you. We go to the Allo VIP line, brought to you by Allo Fiber, where we understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We welcome in Brian Munson of Husker Online. Brian, 17 days till kickoff. Does that make your job any easier, different? How does that affect it?
That's a great question. I tell you what, it makes it a little bit more fun because it's getting real. It's kind of a weird cycle too, because you had all those June official visits, you had all the commitments in the month of July. You're sitting here kind of staring at what we could really be expecting in the months of September, October, November, when you really only have a couple of like really moving parts of the class. But you get a chance to kind of start taking a look at these younger guys, these 2025, these 2026s. You get a chance to start paying attention to the statistics of the current class and the members in the class. So you kind of turn the page on the topics a little bit, but it's really like everything kind of keeps sliding out to the left, except for the start of these seasons and getting into stat checks and seeing how people's seasons are going. So I think it remains about the same. It gets a little funner because you pick up some new tasks that you get to cover.
That's awesome. We'll look forward to reading what you have about these new 25 and 26 guys as we move forward. But Brian, I want to take a little bit of a look back with the news of Xavier Betts departing Nebraska's program for the second time. Is there something, as you look at Nebraska's recruitment of high school receivers, that they're doing right to get guys on campus and wrong that they're leaving? Is there an overarching trend, or is it just a lot of individual situations that have led to basically no receiver depth for Nebraska?
Yeah, I kind of lean more towards the latter, where it's more individual, like case basis kind of situation. And it's really tough to kind of overarch all this stuff, you've had that change in the coaching staff, you've had the portal transfers, you kind of recruited over some guys. I think that there has been some miscalculations and some misses on some guys, obviously, that kind of set all this stuff off a little bit. But like Betts, it's tough to put him into like into one of these like swim lanes. It's, he's a guy that's just doesn't have the passion anymore for playing the game. And I think that, he got a new coach, he felt it at first, and then, got into the fall camp again and just said, I thought I had it, and it's kind of amazing because I think if people understood how difficult the spring really was to work in the off season with no hope of any type of, getting a chance really to blast somebody in a scrimmage or really to take somebody on, like, when it comes to a game on a Saturday, you just don't have those opportunities. You get those opportunities a little bit more, in the fall as you kind of prepare for things. You get to go a little bit more live and get ready for a game. At least that's the way it was back in the old days. So springtime's tough. It's a lot of work. You go from winter conditioning into spring practices. There's a lot of film. There's a lot of treatment and all that good stuff. So him to go through that part and then call it quits kind of in this fall camp as the season's kind of there and upon us. I was just like Rule. I was very shocked. It's kind of questionable timing, but I don't think you can kind of bucketize, more than a couple guys into a single bucket. And I definitely have a hard time kind of finding a lot of fault with Betts because sometimes you just get those guys that just say, I'm not into it anymore. It was fun while I played it in high school. I got here and it just wasn't the same thing. And I'm going to go ahead and call it quits. So he's the guy that retried it. I respect that. It does put a huge crunch on that room, though. I think we would all agree you have a hard time sitting down and looking at a top 5, a top 6 in that room and really feeling, very good about your depth, your experience. I think there's a lot of talent. I think it's untested, unproven talent.
One thing for me is definitely I've been harping on the trenches, and I think my mind will continue to stay there until I see something break through. We know that Scott was named to the Remington Trophy watch list. Ben Scott, the transfer that came over from Arizona State. What's your assessment of him, especially after losing Cam Jurgens, who was a phenomenal center, and then kind of just a hodgepodge of just whatever there before that. But losing Cam, now you have Ben to come over and take over that position is one of the toughest positions, especially on the front, to be able to lead. How do you think he'll fare in taking over that?
Well, they needed a guy that had that experience up front, playing the center position, the guy that can call out the protections, can move the protections, call out the linebackers, set it up. So it's critical that you have a guy that's got that experience and is a capable player. And Ben Scott has got both. I think people don't really understand. I mean, Jurgens was kind of the subject of a lot of criticism when it came to errant snaps, but I think we would all agree that once he got that stuff under control, he was an exceptional center. And that was one thing, obviously, that Scott Frost had to have an eye for, being a converted tight end. But Ben Scott, to me, it's critical that you have that guy that can kind of set that. It's the strength of this offensive line, obviously with Nwili and Piper. It's in the inside. You really got that guard to guard where I feel like that's your biggest strengths. Getting, Piper last year, to me, he was the most improved offensive lineman, throughout the season. At the end of the year, he was playing at an incredibly high level. So I feel like that's huge to kind of get that transfer, to kind of build that chemistry. You get those two guys playing next to another. You get Nwili back that obviously, through that really bad suspension a year ago, that helps add to basically those guys from guard to guard. But I'm with you, Strick. It's one of those things where you haven't had like this. You don't have a lot of change happening with the names. The names have been very similar from one year to the next. So a year ago, it almost seemed like that group of players was, sometimes it looked like the most lost that they had ever been. And at the same time, it was like you got those same guys, except for one or two that are going to be rolling back out there again. And then you get Prohaska that has that injury again. He's a little bit dinged up. you're really hoping this format change and maybe some things, else that they are doing on top of that is really going to help out their play. And it's definitely the biggest concern that I have on the offensive side of the football. I think the running game, Grant did an exceptional job last year making the most out of nothing on a lot of plays. And you just don't think that it's not a sustainable model. And obviously, Thompson took some big hits throughout the season, obviously to go ahead and bring in some other quarterbacks, after he got hurt and dinged up. So I'm with you. I think the offensive line is still one of those things. It's that area that you have the biggest concern about. And if you can just get Sims some time and you can just open up some holes, everything else, it becomes parts of the playbook that you can play in. And otherwise you're talking about, it's got to be quick. We got to get it out quick. We got to be able to establish this thing. We need to get these guys tuckered out a little bit because right now they are just beating us up front. Those are those bad situations that you don't want to be in on Saturday.
As we talk about the lines with Brian Munson of Husker Online, we know the staff's prototype for wide receivers, DBs, is long and with some speed. Do they have a prototype or a trait they go for above anything else recruiting on the lines, whether it's, bulk, size, athleticism? Is there an overarching philosophy on the offensive line for what they're looking for?
It's interesting. It's going to be fun to kind of watch how Rule operates here because, you got a guy like Jake Peters, for example, who is out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And he probably had, I think Nebraska is the only Power 5 offer he had when he committed. He came to Nebraska. He showed out at camp. Looked good at both offensive line and defensive line. Nebraska said they could have offered him on either side of the football, but plays offensive tackle in high school, and he's a 6'2", 6'3" kind of guy, and realistically, even for D1 Big Ten standards, that's a little bit short to play kind of on the offensive line. If you're D1 football is kind of about, and I think Strick can kind of back me up here. You got to kind of check the box. There's a prototype. There's prototypical kind of height, length, speed, strength, kind of things that you're looking for. And if you're typically, then you're that inside guy, you're looking 6'4", 6'5". If you're looking outside, it's usually like 6'5" and above. You're really, if you're going to that 6'2", 6'3" guy, you're typically not recruiting him for the offensive side of the football. It's usually going to be like as a 3 technique or a guy that's going to be playing on the defensive line. A lot of times those guys that are really great players that are 6'2" offensive linemen find themselves not able to play Division I football despite the fact that they are great players because they don't check that box. They don't look like those guys do on Saturday afternoons. And it has a way of kind of filtering out certain aspects and certain players, potentially like when it comes to like the pool of players that will get to play at that next level. I think it's incredibly judgmental. I think Rule himself is kind of digging in past that prototypical stereotype and saying, who are the players? Who are the guys that are incredibly coachable? Who are the guys that test well? I'm going to get you to camp. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I'm going to have a chance to look at this stuff. Yeah, your height's 6'2", but guess what? I worked with you all stinking day. You did everything I told you to do. You looked as good doing this as a 6'5" guy does in Texas that we're also recruiting. Therefore, I feel good enough to go ahead and give you an offer based on what it is I saw of you today. And I had a chance to watch your film. And, I've been able to do this evaluation, very, very quickly, but I feel good about it. So it's going to be interesting to kind of, when you look at Jake and you look at like the contrast of like how they're recruiting, some of their other players that are out there, but offensive line, Baker, Brandon Baker and Talmua and Bricks, the offensive tackle guys, they're still longer. You're still talking 6'4" and beyond. But I think that those guys inside, they're going to have a little bit more play. You can be a little bit shorter than that. I think that they're just looking for guys that are players, that are maulers, I guess is probably a better word, because Peters is the kind of guy that's going to go all the way to the whistle and he will drive you into the ground. Same with Landon Davidson. Those guys are incredibly physical players. And I think that those are the reason why those guys got those offers, is that they're physical and they're great high school football players.
Brian, we've had a couple requests for different names, so I'm going to kind of generalize it and ask you this. Are there any guys that stand out to you uncommitted in the 24 and 25 classes in state that you either expect to commit soon or have any intel on?
You know, I think the only guy that we can really mention in the 24 class that, you know, that potentially could end up being part of the class still is Caleb Benning. I think the season here is going to be critical for him. It's one of those deals. Obviously, Nebraska's has 7 defensive backs in the class. You've got to kind of see some things happening with the rest of your group. You got guys like Roger Gradney that's also committed as a DB that could play linebacker. You got some other guys potentially that could kind of move around and do some different things. Benning is going to have an opportunity. He's going to have an opportunity to go out there and play for one of the best Class A teams in the state and have a chance to basically promote himself on Friday nights. And I think that that's very, very critical. It's going to be fun to kind of watch to see, you know, where he gets a chance to kind of go take his visits, you know, because it's a guy that didn't take any official visits in June. So he's got all 5 and even more if he wants them to kind of get out there and take those official visits. So it'd be interesting to see who the players are there. 2025, you know, I look for a guy. There's a name to kind of follow here because I think that Nebraska's offer list for 2025 guys in the state is a little light for next year. And I think they could be getting really, really close to offering a new guy. So Calvin Jansen from Gretna will be playing left tackle for them this year, played right tackle for him last year. Really like his film, being recruited to play interior offensive line for Nebraska. I think, again, for him, the first 3 or 4 football games are going to be really important. It's going to really set the stage for Nebraska either making that offer or having to wait it out a little bit further to see how things are kind of going. And then Christian Jones. Christian Jones, it's going to be interesting because he almost didn't make it to the barbecue at the end of the summertime because he was planning on going to visit Knoxville. I think that tells you right then and there he could be difficult, like, you know, Carter Nelson kind of difficult as things kind of went on, you know, last summer when it comes to taking some trips, wanting to see some things, want to make that comparison. I've already put in a few, like a prediction for Jones to end up at Nebraska. I do feel very positive about that. I just think that along the way here through the process, it's going to be difficult. He's going to go visit some really, really interesting places like Tennessee and Notre Dame, potentially a school like USC when he gets a chance to kind of get out there. He's got some great offers, and I think the season could really or highlight things for him and really open some things up.
Last thing for you then, Brian, as you've seen this staff recruit for, you know, a rushed cycle as they get into their first full cycle here, do you have any sense on what the setup is? Like, who's the first point of contact? Is Matt Rule the closer? Is the position coach the closer? What's kind of how this staff approaches recruiting these big name challenging recruits?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question because some guys have got territories and some guys kind of overarch. It almost feels like on the defensive side of the football, Tony White may have a territory, but he really overarches and kind of supports everything. Some interesting names that have kind of been, you know, rattled off recently by some players about like leading the charge. Omar Hales seems to be, you know, mentioned by everybody. Adam DeMichael is another guy that comes up. Keith Williams, another name that's been coming up more regularly as far as guys that, you know, obviously that would be kind of running point for them. And you have like obviously the position coaches, but then you get to your Tony Whites, you get to your Satterfields, you get kind of the supplemental look, and then you have kind of Matt Rule there. I think Matt Rule is kind of that Iceman closer kind of thing. But I think you have some real recruiting dudes at the assistant position, you know, as the coaches. But I think it's really, you got these guys that are kind of leading the charge, you know. Outside of that, the Vince Gintas is another name that obviously gets mentioned quite a bit. But yeah, you got those guys that are kind of leading the charge, kind of turning over all the stones, getting some interest going. They're even working the 25s and the 26s as the assistant coaches are kind of really working more the current class. And those guys are really kind of out in front, laying the framework and the groundwork for those guys and the relationship how it's going to work in Nebraska, and start getting those guys to come up this fall. So I think that it's going to be really interesting to see at what point Nebraska does the turnkey away from Omar and Vince and Keith and Adam and hand these guys over to the position coaches and say, okay, they're yours to kind of start running with now, because I think as you kind of like get towards the end of the season, you got that evaluation period kind of kicking up for that 1 or 2 weeks in January, and then you pick it up again, in the springtime. You're going to want those position coaches out on the road, because they can start establishing relationships and talking to those guys now legally, in their high school. So it's going to be very important to get that relationship created, sometime during this fall with those guys that are kind of underclassmen, particularly the 25s.
It's Brian Munson of Husker Online with us here on the block. Brian, as always, we appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week, man.
Sounds good, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
There he is, Brian Munson, with us on our Allo VIP line, where we at Allo Fiber understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We'll step aside, take our final break of the show, get ready to hand it off to Old School after this.
It's not often a man wakes up and says, I feel the best I have in years. We hear this all the time at Limitless Mail, and it can happen to you. Go to Listen to see what your body is missing. That's how simple it is. Schedule a free consult with Limitless Mail. Discuss your symptoms. Do the blood test. If your lab results say you're low in testosterone, we can fix that. Age is just a number. You can feel your best again. Just ask Limitless Mail.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roof Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, there's too. Visit roofservice.com for more info today.
Lane's Cover Crop is your one-stop feed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Keep summer green with Judson Baleen and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install them and forget them outfit, long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415, or online at ambitionelectric.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and Bob just wanted to say thank you for a record-setting July here at Koppel. The summer sales event continues in August, and the incentives are crazy. Check this out. We got 0.9% financing along with a $2,500 trade-in rebate on select new models. You heard right. 0.9% financing has been extended along with a trade-in rebate. Also, our GM certified used inventory is filling up fast. So make that money-saving drive to Koppel. It's just south of the interstate, or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with roof credit.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Haviland. This week's specials through August 15th are $2 off packaged grass-fed, grass-finished New York strip with limit of 2 per visit. And don't forget to check out their Friday feast this week and every week. Plus, big news, they have 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
H&H Roofing, established in 2015, is proud to serve the local area, which includes the Tri-State area in Nebraska, Iowa, and South Dakota. H&H Roofing has a professional team that are licensed and bonded, GAF Master Certified Installers, and an insurance-preferred contractor that will work directly with your insurance company. Also a leading roofer, siding, and gutter specialist. H&H Roofing will service all residential, commercial, and agricultural needs. Go to hnhroofs.com for more information or call 402-359-2545. 46.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club, or space club, and stuff like that. Don't forget book clubs and quilting clubs. No, forget that. How about a margarita club? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge and join the best club in town. 10 flavors of margarita like Maui Wow, burnt pineapple, and mango tango. Try all 10 of them and receive your own souvenir margarita glass. Make it your new Monday night tradition. $4 margaritas and $4 taco baskets. Grab the crew and head on over Monday night or any night. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolet service and information. And we would be grateful for the opportunity to service. Call 402-470-4060. A1 Automotive. Always honest answers.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Hey, you got any gum?
Yeah, check my backpack.
What's this?
Oh, that's naloxone. It can reverse an opioid overdose. I decided to always keep it on me after my friend almost died. It saved his life.
I'm so sorry. That makes me want to have it with me too.
You totally should. Check the pharmacy. It was actually really easy to get and it's easy to use.
I definitely will. Thanks.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by Nebraska DHS. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. We're back one final time here on the block. Austin Norman, Eric Strickland with you. Breaking news out of the NFL. Thank goodness Rico is out of the building. Otherwise, he would crash the party. I'm kind of expecting a text here. And you can probably guess where this is going. The New England Patriots are reportedly signing former Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott to a 1-year, $6 million contract. The Patriots like Ramondre Stevenson, still the presumptive starter, but I guess Zeke would have something to say about that. Like you pointed out, Strick, for the way we talk about Zeke, he's still pretty young.
Yeah, I mean, 27 years old. I mean, it seems like the running backs of the day operate on doggy years. It's like they're multiplied upon them. But, you know, with Ty Montgomery struggling with injuries there as well to stay healthy, they had J.J. Taylor and Kevin Harris as well as Pierre Strong Jr. They just haven't been able to distinguish themselves as somebody who can kind of take that slot, and could be a good dual threat with Ramondre and Stevenson and him together. But Belichick likes him. You know, in 2019, Belichick basically spoke of him of being a great downhill runner, somebody who is he's very tough, who can pass protect and do a lot of things a little bit out of the background, more on a screen basis, as opposed to, you know, you're able to kind of run him out there and face up against a linebacker. But you know, Stevenson breaks 1,000 yards. I think it's very complimentary. They're looking. You can tell that they're on the hunt. I mean, they signed also a USFL running back, CJ Marble, who was you know, in the USFL, led Birmingham to a couple of titles there, and but with the Patriots only averaging 3.1 yards per carry, they've got to do better. I mean, you just can't rely on, you know, Max to fling it and sling it. You know, it's just you need that good complementary aspect of them. And so I think that's kind of and we talked about that. I figured it would be somebody who was just in the hunt of a need for somebody who could either help out or make sure that they similar to like what Kareem Hunt and they were doing up in Cleveland. But I like it. I think it's good. It's a good place for him. I think it's a place where he will be disciplined. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're just not. He's not going to just be able to kind of run roughshod in there. He's going to be disciplined, but it saves his legs. He does. Doesn't have to go through a full camp. Just worked out, stay in shape, and go in there and learn the playbook and the new terminologies.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station ID. Come back and wrap up on the block after this.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
You mentioned Mac Jones, and that's where I want to finish us off here. Barring injury, of course, which of these three quarterbacks do you think has the best season? Mac Jones, Kenny Pickett, Brock Purdy.
I'm definitely going to be a Brock Purdy guy. As long as he comes back fully healthy and there's no issues as far as with his, I'm going to go with Brock Purdy. I still think Mac Jones would need run support to make himself more effective. I don't think, like I said, I don't think he's a flinging and slinging guy, nor do I think they have the weapons, on the outside to be able to do that. That can create that kind of separation, because that means he's going to have to throw it on darts. He's going to have to find small windows. And I just don't think he has that repertoire in his repertoire.
DP in the building, same question to you. Best season this season, Brock Purdy, Mac Jones, Kenny Pickett. However you want to judge best.
Yeah, I mean, Purdy has to win the job, which is a real difference maker when it comes to this, when you talk about these three. Pickett will get what I believe is the best opportunity because they're leaning on him more. To do more in that space. His coach is relying on him to be steady, and in being when a coach tells you that, it means he's going to ask less of you. With the highest ceiling, don't make mistakes. Easy throws will take the results. Purdy has the high ceiling but the high responsibility. The only success for him this season is them winning the Super Bowl. That's the only success for him. Is for the 49ers to win the Super Bowl. Like, they're one of those 9 or 10 teams that actually are competing and working to win a Super Bowl. Not everybody can do that. Like, we know 2/3 of the league, they're out there faking it, but they don't have a real legitimate chance to win the big game. Of the teams that can, the 49ers are in a closed window. Because if it doesn't work this year, changes will be made. And I think that's how you know how big this year is for the 49ers. It's win or bust for them. Same for the Bills. Same for the Bengals. Same for the Chiefs. Like the Chiefs, it's like you just won, but you're at that point in Andy Reid's career that a loss makes you ask questions about whether he's going to stick to this thing and then what the next change is going to be, especially when your offensive coordinator was out the door.
And your favorite place.
Yeah. Well, I ain't mad. I'm not think about this, that there aren't that many teams that legitimately you can put in the space of, potential Super Bowl champion.
You think you named most of them: Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, Eagles, Niners.
Yeah. Eagles fall into that category. Eagles.
I think he's got room to get better. Still got great weapons there. I think Jalen Hurts gets better.
I think it gets better because less will be asked from him this year than last year. Here's the thing: you've got runners. I still want better receivers. I just do. Like, I think of all the teams that we mentioned in winning the Super Bowl, that the Eagles receivers still are on the last tier of that elite level. Like, they're on the very last tier. But they're so good. They drafted so well and added so much talent in the offseason at key positions. I mean, the Eagles,
Georgia Bulldog light.
The Eagles. The Eagles. I mean, they got better. They got better. Now, they're the favorite. Like, you're the champ to USA. You can, in order to beat a man, you got to beat the man. The Eagles are a team to beat. Chiefs are a team to beat. But everybody else at least has a plan. They have a plan. The Niners have a plan. The Cowboys have a plan. And if they don't get it done this year, Dak's in trouble. Jerry's gonna rattle the cage. You got rid of Zeke. You got rid of a force Forget about on the field, that in the locker room force of having a steady guy that, for whatever his personality quirks are, he was consistent in that space. And being a guy that set the tone when they went to scrimmage, when they were working out, all that stuff, Zeke did all that stuff. So now Dak has to do it. Now you got to count on some dudes on the outside that you hadn't counted on before. Them bright lights and all the secrets, that weighs on people.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And then, I don't know who from the black and blue division. I mean, I think it's pretty much the Vikings or nothing.
I would say the Lions. They got to prove it, but I'm
not putting the Lions in the Super Bowl conversation.
Not in that conversation. Sorry, I'm talking about the division. Not the Super Bowl.
No, the Vikings could have 2 breaks. If they had 2 breaks last year, they're 2 breaks away from playing Super Bowl.
That's because of your boy.
Well, but here's the thing, and I get how it's cute to slander Kirk Cousins.
I'll just be messing, but he's Big Monday no shows.
No, but that's like
his numbers speak.
Of all the things that you can
yeah.
Like we need to stop doing that.
He's a meme. Just a meme.
That's like
he's good.
That's like I mean, we can do that with every quarterback not named Patrick Mahomes.
Does Ron get it done?
You know what? If you had asked me a week ago, I'd have said no.
Mm-hmm.
But Hard Knocks is
they look good.
Kind of rubbing on me.
Buying in little?
Hard Knocks, listen, I mean, again, it's the same thing with Kirk Cousins. Aaron Rodgers is elite in the 90th percentile of quarterbacks and football players. He does everything required on game day and before that you could ask. He just had limits. And he still has limits with the Jets. They have this. I mean, the difference for that is that you got a young Mr. Wilson at receiver. That's the real difference. I mean, Saleh I get it, him as a coach. But watching Aaron Rodgers and watching the players on the Jets respond to Aaron Rodgers lets me go, man, they're going to mess around and feel it. Like they're going to mess around and buy in on this dude. And then he's going to, I mean, listen, you're talking about the opening on Broadway of a star.
He's the new Joe Namath in town right now.
Right.
Basically. He's that guy.
He's bigger than Joe.
Mm-hmm.
He's bigger than Joe because
the league's bigger?
The league's bigger. The exposure's bigger. The reach is bigger. We whispered about Joe Namath, but we didn't know Joe Namath. Like I was around for Joe Namath. We didn't know him. Like we saw him in the pantyhose commercial. We saw him wearing a fur coat on the sideline, and we saw the women kissing on him. We knew that, but we didn't know everything.
Broadway Joe.
Like we didn't know everything we know. But Broadway Aaron Rodgers is a thing, and they've got some dudes, man. Sauce Gardner watching him and Wilson compete. Watching Sauce make Aaron Rodgers better.
Yeah,
right. When you make a Hall of Fame thrower adjust his routine because you're that dang good. Yeah, the Jets. If the Jets were in any other division, I'm like, yep, I'd buy it. But you got to face them dudes.
There's some guys.
You got to face them dudes in Buffalo. You got to go, look, man. You had to go up to Orchard Park and get, face all that. And who knows when you get them?
Right.
Aaron ain't afraid of playing in Buffalo because he played in Lambeau Field. Cold, I've done it. Been there. They're leaning on me. Like I'm leaning in to the Jets, and I'm surprised by that.
What direction you gonna go on old school today? Just because it depends on what this question comes out or not, because we know we're kind of approaching that time. Because I got a question, but it just depends on where you're gonna go on old. What direction you gonna go?
Well, we were listening to Garrett McGuire and Marcus Satterfield today, and they were talking about players over plays. And I keep looking. I said this to Jay and Austin Friday. I'm looking for constant things in good places. Like I'm looking in a new coaching staff, and I mean a new coaching staff with a new roster and some returnees. There are a lot of questions. So then I have to be fed something good in order for me to buy in. And when young McGuire says it's players over plays, we all run the same stuff. It's who's doing it and what we do with them that matters. I'm leaning in. That is a box that I will put a check in because it tells me the messaging is right.
Okay, so then here's the question. Russell Wilson, does he rebound this year?
I don't think it's up to him. I like him and Coach together. I like them together, but wifey pregnant again, and we know how that lean. He's a family dude. And that's not. I'm not slighting him for that. Austin will tell you, man. You can say I'm gonna focus on this thing, but when mama pregnant, all bets are off, bro. But I like the coaching. I like the coaching mesh there. They'll be better than they were a year ago. I'm just not sure how much better.
There it is. Coming up next, you're going to find yourself with the old school crew. It's going to be DP. I may hang around for a little bit since Jay has something to handle. But nonetheless, we'll be back tomorrow, 2 to 4, right here. We're on the block, 93.7 The Ticket at ticketfm.com. Peace.
Keep summer green with Judson Bilene and Judson Irrigation. Judson Irrigation lawn sprinklers installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job. Install them and forget them outfit long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
H&H Roofing, established in 2015, is proud to serve the local area, which includes the tri-state area in Nebraska, Iowa, and South Dakota. H&H Roofing has a professional team that are licensed and bonded, GAF Master Certified Installers, and an insurance-preferred contractor that will work directly with your insurance company. Also a leading roofer, siding, and gutter specialist. H&H Roofing will service all residential, commercial, and agricultural needs. Go to HandHroofs.com for more information or call 402-359-2546.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles, Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive. Always honest answer.
If you're in Lincoln area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on water heaters, faucet, fixture repair, underground